Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So again we have brought you the new current affairs session, and today we are going to discuss the current affairs of 4th June, and this session has been brought to you by Himalaya IAS classes. If you want to join IAS 2021 batch or KAS examination batch for English or Kannada medium, you can always visit www.himalayaiasclasses.com, or you can reach out to us on this number. So before we start the session, the significance of current affairs, as we are aware that for prelims, it gives you straightforward questions. For mains, the current affairs can be used first directly, the questions which are asked on that, and indirectly in achieving good marks. Then essay, where you have to write multiple dimensions of the topic. It helps you a lot in opinion building. And interview, most of the questions are related to the contemporary issues. So let's get started with today's current affairs with this Nisarga, which was the tropical cyclone in Mumbai. It has passed Mumbai. It made a landfall yesterday, and it was the damage which we expected. It is less than that. Okay. So prelims disaster management, again, it is part of that topic. Mains disaster management is part of general studies paper 3. So Nisarga, which is the name given to the cyclone, excuse me. Tropical cyclone, it did not hit Mumbai and Gujarat coast as expected, and teams of NDRF, National Disaster Response Force, and State Disaster Response Force, they are present to help the situation. From our examination point of view, it is very important for us to understand in NCERT also, cyclone formation, conditions for cyclone formation, it is all part of the prelims as well as main syllabus. So first you need to look at this picture. So see, cyclone formation occurs when there is a low pressure area, air converges and it goes upward. See, in anticyclone, air descends, it comes downwards and it diverges. Okay, whereas in cyclone, it converges and goes upwards. So the energy for cyclone, it comes from the water source. So that's why as soon as they hit the ground, the energy or intensity of the cyclone, it starts getting reduced. Okay, so this middle area is known as eye of the cyclone, and this is a water source over which this low pressure converging air areas, and then it radiates in outwards direction. Okay, so some conditions for the formation of cyclone, some warm tropical temperature, vertical disturbance in the wind, presence of Coriolis force, existing low pressure area. So these are certain conditions which are required for the formation of cyclone. Cyclone is nothing but an energy distribution system. Then next news in today's discussion, it's about development of infrastructure on Chinese border. Okay, so some news were there related to, and China has also said that no need for third party intervention. So this news is coming in the background of Mr. Donald Trump offering to mediate between India and China in the context of ongoing LAC standoff between both the countries. So syllabus wise, it is part of international relation. International relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So infrastructure at the border areas, there's a decision to boost infrastructure along Chinese border. We have like almost 3,500 kilometers long border with the China. The villages in Ladakh, Arunachal, Himachal, Uttarakhand and Sikkim. Okay, all these places, there will be construction of roads, bridges, community health centers, schools, hospitals. Okay, this all under the scheme of Border Area Development Program. This is an old scheme, but the government has decided to continue and boost the funding in it. Okay, border guarding forces will have a key role in choosing the project. So all of us know that India-China border is guarded by ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Force. Indo-Nepal border is guarded by SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal. India-Pakistan or Bangladesh border is guarded by BSF, and Indo-Myanmar border is guided by Assam Rifles. So in the development of projects in these border areas, these security forces, they will have a say in it, okay, while approving the project. Also, so that states can be incentivized for their performance, 10% incentive has been mentioned in this border area development program for better performing states. Okay. Next important news article, we are discussing it on many days. The G7 summit, which was about to happen, has been postponed, and now Mr. Donald Trump is trying to extend, or he has proposed to extend the membership of G7 countries to 4 more countries. So syllabus wise, it is part of the international relation, and international relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So Trump announced to expand G7 to G11. Okay, so first you should know all the countries which are part of G7. G7 is the grouping of most economically developed countries of the world. So United States is there, Canada is there, United Kingdom is there, France is there. Okay, these countries are there. There's Germany also, which is part of this. Okay, then Japan is also part of it, and Italy is also part of it. So that makes it total 7. Okay, so US, Canada, Britain, France, okay, and Japan, Germany, and Italy. So these are the 7 countries which are part of the G7. Now they want to include 4 more countries, namely, please do remember this: India, Russia, South Korea, and Australia, to make it to G11. Earlier also they had some sort of extended format. See, Russia was all earlier part of it till 2014. Till that time it was known as G8. In 2014, Russia was expelled because of its annexation of Crimea or Ukraine. Okay, that time earlier they used to have this extended version like G8 countries plus 5 more countries: China, India, Brazil, Mexico, and South Africa. But at this point of time, China has been dropped. You know, US-China trade war, people are calling it a new Cold War. Brazil, Mexico, and South Africa, because of this COVID situation. So this is a history bygones. You don't need to remember this. But please remember the members of G7 plus these 4 new countries. They can be asked in the prelims examination. Another article again today talks about India-China border skirmishes, and it talks about the details, what is going on, what can be done. So prelims, it is part of international relation. In the mains, international relation is the part of general studies paper 2. So again, background, LAC standoff is going on. We know that 4 points in Ladakh. All of us know that Pangong Taso Lake, which is a saltwater lake, then Demchuk, Galwan River, these 3 areas, and Nakula sector in Sikkim. So in these places, standoff is going on. Defense Minister of India, Mr. Rajnath Singh, has already said that deployment of Chinese forces has increased, okay, on the border. So here the article argues like, okay, why this is all happening. So he gives the issue that, okay, after Jammu Kashmir Reorganization Act, which was passed in 2019, actually India demanded back the Askai Chin area, which has been taken by China after 1962 war. Also, the construction activities of the border infrastructure that has increased. We have talked about Darbuk Shok Daulat Old Beg Road, okay, which has been created parallel to LAC. Also, CPEC is an issue between both the countries, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which goes from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And plus, there is a conflict or tension going on between USA and China, which people are calling it now New Cold War. So that's why I see, one, because of these reasons, China is trying to assert its power on India. It cannot afford a full-scale war as of now. So that's why it is pitching a limited-scale war. Because see, there are huge trade between both the countries. It amounts to almost $100 billion. So they're not going to restrict that. And India must try to, secure a border agreement in future in order to avoid these type of things. Because see, any such incident that might impact trade also. And plus, it's not that if there is a small loss, you can just leave it. A government in power has to respond to it, to the sovereignty, integrity, and security of the nation. So that is why it is always good or in favor of both the countries to secure the trade, that rather than fighting over these limited scale wars, we must assure the border agreement which is consented to by both the countries. Next article today talks about discontinuing the subsidy, especially power subsidies, which is available to the farmer sector. So syllabus-wise, part of Indian economy. Indian economy is the part of general studies, paper 3. So what this article is trying to argue, that power sector subsidy, okay, where you use as much as electricity as you want, but you have to pay just a fixed amount of bill, which is a lump sum. So that is a subsidy which is borne by the government, that should be transferred to the direct benefit transfer. Karnataka was the first state to use DBT in the power supply. What happens when we give subsidy directly in the consumption of the electricity? It leads to widespread wastage of water as well as electricity. Electricity is free. Everybody uses like electric pumps. Then water also, like, they just misutilized. So this is also against the incentivization principle. Incentivization principle is nothing but, in order to encourage people to perform tasks in certain way, you reward them. That is known as incentivization. It can be positive, it can be negative. Negative means punish them if they don't follow that. Okay. Then India is largest user of groundwater. So see, this subsidy of electricity is not just being misutilized for electricity, it is also being misutilized for water. And already we are facing a shortage of water. Another challenge is there is absence of meters. We do not have meters so that we can track how much electricity is being used by people for particularly irrigation purpose, or whether some people who are not targeted beneficiary, they are also misusing this subsidy on the electricity. So on a whole, the argument of the article says that we should do away with the power sector subsidy, and the people to whom we have to give this subsidy, we should identify them and try to transfer money directly to their accounts. Next article today, again a continuous issue for the last few days or few weeks, you can say even couple of months, that migrant workers who have moved to various parts of India facing so many challenges. This again part of Indian economy. Indian economy is the part of general studies paper 3. So COVID impact which led to the migration of people on this huge scale. Sorry about this. This is not the one. Okay, I'll just explain you that article which we discussed. So this is the strong workforce which we have in the informal sector. See, there are almost 14 crore migrant workers who work in the informal sectors. 90% of our workforce works in informal sector. Especially they work in micro, small, medium enterprises and in the construction sectors. Okay, so without them, booming these sectors is not going to be possible. Plus, again, solving the problem of informal workers is not possible for India to copy the West countries or the developed countries. We need to find our own solutions because we have our own challenges. So first thing is they have gone back facing so many problems. So we need to create an atmosphere where we can win their trust. It might be Interstate Workman Migration Act. It might be some social security benefits. And then we need to bring back them to these informal sectors. Otherwise, boosting up again after this lockdown period of these informal sectors, MSME or construction worker, it is going to be very problematic. Next news item today talks about the National Green Tribunal. It has held LG Polymers India liable for the loss of life. So see, we all know syllabus wise part of EVS General Studies paper 3, in the Visakhapatnam, the leakage of styrene gas which has taken place in the factory of LG Polymers, it has led to loss of life and hospitalization of people at a large scale. So NGT, National Green Tribunal, okay, which is a quasi-judicial body which has been created to provide speedily justice for the environment conservation cases. It has asked to provide 50 crore compensation to be deposited by the company, and it has said that this company was having no environmental clearance. Okay, so please remember styrene gas which got leaked, Visakhapatnam, LG Polymers, also NGT, what is the body? It has been created by NGT Act. All these questions can be asked in the prelims examination. The next small news item today talks about Gilgit Baltistan region, where India has said that Pakistan occupied Kashmir government, they are they are bringing damage to old Buddhist sculptures in the region. Okay, so there is a Daimar Bhasha hydropower project. Please remember this. So this is being built in the Hunza area. Hunza is also a tributary of Indus, if you remember in geography. So there are some ancient Buddhist sculptures are there which is being demolished because of this hydropower project. And we all know that China and Pakistan building the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which goes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and somewhere both the countries are also belonging to this hydropower project. So please remember where this hydropower project is located. Hunza, the name of the tributary. Last news article from today, it talks about cabinet nod for agri marketing reforms. So all of us know that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, the third tranche or the third component of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, it talked about the agricultural marketing reforms, and it basically talked about the 3 laws which has to be replaced. So one was Essential Commodities Act, next was APMC Act, and the last, a new law which has to be made about the contract farming. So this proposal actually talks about all 3. Syllabus wise, all of us know it is part of Indian economy, which is in turn part of General Studies paper 3. So this new ordinance in the cabinet, it has given nod for changing Essential Commodities Act 1955. What change is being done is they have removed the oil seeds, pulses, cereal, edible oil, onion, potato. Please remember all of this. Okay, it can be asked which of these are not covered under ECA Act. So these things will not be covered under EC Act, means the infrastructure, storage infrastructure by private firms can be built along this, and these things can be stored above a threshold limit. Okay, so ordinance removing restrictions to sell produce in APMC market, that is another thing. So now the farmers, what is the name of the ordinance? Next is farming produce trade and commerce. Okay, that is the name of the ordinance, farming produce trade and commerce 2020 ordinance, which will remove the restriction to sell the produce in the APMC markets. As of now, farmers can sell their produce only in the notified markets in every district, notified by state government. But now they can sell it everywhere. So this will boost private investment. In case of why this EC Act was there, so that in case of some shortage or calamity, people don't stock it too much. So that regulation is still there, but only applicable during war or calamity. So two changes here, that farmers can sell their produce apart from the APMC market, and second, the articles like cereals, edible oils, oil seeds, pulses, onion and potato have been taken out of ECA. The third is Farmer Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Ordinance. This is related to contract farming, which will help farmers to fix a price with the private players, which will reduce their future price risk, okay, for their produce. So this was the news items of current affairs from today, guys. This is the list of do's and don'ts which you can follow in order to maximize your chances of selection in the prelims examination. Please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we upload a current affairs video. So thank you very much for watching this. Please stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.